Hello Internet, your favorite curmudgeon here, the Grumpy Sysadmin. Today we're going to get into that unholy trinity of malware, viruses, and spam. So first up, let's talk about malware. What is malware? Malware is any software that is designed to do damage to your system, kind of like Godzilla meeting Japan. It is software that will try to steal information, damage your electronics, basically make your life as miserable as it can and turn you into someone really grumpy. Now, defending against these digital beasts is a multi-layered approach. Things like having your system constantly up to date, using strong and unique passwords and changing them regularly, and of course, having reliable antivirus and anti-malware software on your machine is always important. If you treat your antivirus software like your mother treats your baby photos and videos, you're probably already winning half the battle. And another one of those foes that go along with that ugly malware would be something called scareware. Scareware typically will pop up and tell you that your system is more infected than a zombie B-movie, and all you need to do to save it is to give up your credit card details. Remember folks, legitimate software really shouldn't bother you too much. It shouldn't pop up out of nowhere like that surprise birthday party you never really wanted. Remember, friends don't let friends fall for scareware. One of the biggest defenses against scareware is just simply paying attention. One of the biggest things with scareware that it tries to make you do is, as its name implies, it's trying to scare you into doing an action. A lot of times it will pop up and say, your antivirus is expired, or your machine is at risk, call now. Remember, Microsoft is never going to tell you to call them. If you get a pop-up about an antivirus product that you've never heard of, most likely it's not real. Best thing to do is to know what software you have installed on your machine, know when things expire if they do expire, and pay attention when you get those strange messages that seem to come creeping up out of nowhere. Along with malware is our good old friend viruses. And I'm not talking about good old COVID-19, but they can be things that spread like wildfire. Viruses typically are little pieces of software that are designed to be transmitted from machine to machine, kind of like how fast a cold can go through your local office. Now, as viruses go, there are many different kinds. There are viruses that will infect an individual file. There are viruses that will infect the computer as a whole. There are viruses that will actually bury themselves on your hard disk, making them that much more difficult to get rid of. The thing to know and understand is it's really important to pay attention to your antivirus software, your anti-malware software, and make sure they're up to date, as well as keeping your Windows or other operating systems up to date as much as possible. Also bear in mind that viruses can spread from more ways than just an individual file. Viruses can be in macros, viruses can be on websites, viruses can be in all sorts of places that you may not normally think of it. Why it's important to have antivirus software and something that actively monitors your internet connection in place is that some of the newer viruses actually are what's known as drive-by. What that basically means is someone can create an ad, because most people, if they wanted to, can post an ad somewhere on Google or other places, but they put malicious code in the ad. And until that is discovered, it's referred to as a 0 day, meaning that it was just put out and no one's found it yet. And you could simply go to a web page, view something on a web page, and pops up an ad. And that ad has that malicious code in it, which executes and does something that you really don't want in your computer. Now, why would people write viruses? Originally, viruses in the very early days were created mostly to see if they could actually do it. But people, being the way that they are, the less savory of characters, figured out that, hey, if I write something, maybe I can steal information. And then as time went on, people found out, well, hey, maybe I can scare people into giving me information that I really want them to give me, so I can then try to steal from them. This is kind of also how scareware and other things evolved, trying to get people to go to a fake website, enter their credit card information, or enter in information, oh, I'm Microsoft, enter your username and password, and if they trick you, then they can log in as you and then try to steal more information. Really, a lot of this has been driven by organized crime all around the world for decades. It's also why it is so important to be as vigilant as you possibly can and defend yourself not only with good tools, but also common sense. Now, that third leg of the unholy trinity, spam. Spam is nothing more than the digital version of all that junk you get in your mailbox on a daily basis. It's just an electronic version of stuff where they want you to buy something you don't need, go places you don't necessarily want to go, or trick you into using something that's either not real or is a cheap knockoff. Fortunately, there are many ways of combating spam. Depending on who your email provider is, they may already do a lot of that for you. For example, with Google Mail or Gmail, there's already quite a bit of spam protections built in, and you can always add more protections should you want them. The best thing to remember is if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. If you never entered into the Australian lottery and you get emails saying you won the Australian lottery, pretty good bet that it's a scam. Best thing to do is to make sure your antivirus, anti-spam, anti-malware products are all up to date and are running all the time. Using multi-layer protection is the best protection against all sorts of malware. Anyway, that's going to be it for me right now. And remember, folks, when it comes to tech, stay skeptical, stay secure, and stay grumpy. Thanks for watching the Grumpy Sysadmin. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell to never miss an update from the Grumpy Sysadmin.